Dave Stala released today. Can you sort of talk about the reasons behind that?
Um, I think the primary reason is because Dave was going to have a hard time being in our plans going forward. And I spoke to Dave prior to Christmas, discussed his options, kind of what our plans were, gave him an opportunity to see if he wanted to continue to play, or to retire. And when he decided he still wanted to play, then I said I'll reach out to all the teams to see if there's a home for you, and we did that, and spent some time doing that over the holidays, and just got to the point now where there just wasn't any interest at this point, so we decided to release him.
Is part of releasing him now so that if he does want to continue, that he does have an opportunity to sign with another team if he has that?
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I talked to him before Christmas as well. To get ahead of that process, right, and to give an opportunity to have plenty of time before free agency to find another home if there is one, and so that's what we did, and hopefully he'll find another home. I know he wants to play. He's a good guy. We've got a lot of respect for him. He's meant a lot to this organization. Everybody knows that, and I've got a good relationship with Dave, so hopefully he'll land on his feet.
Is it just tough here because you have Fantus and you have Jaguar, and those guys are the starters, and then the guy that plays behind them, do you need that guy to be able to play special teams and contribute in another way?
Well, it certainly helps, right? It just depends really on the makeup of the roster for that particular week, and so much of that changed, a lot for us this year with constant injuries and trying to piece together the strongest units we can on special teams. Especially as it relates to the number of starters that we're playing on teams and what we're asking them to do, right? So when we're thin, then obviously an extra receiver, an extra linebacker, whatever the position is, really needs to be able to contribute on teams, especially on the weeks where we're thin.
Dave's 34. Was age a factor here?
I mean, we don't look at a number as far as age. We look at just the ability to play and the ability to play as it relates to your position on the football team and those around you, the competitive players in your position, and try to make a projection that way, and other plans too, because you don't just look at one position, right? You look at piecing the entire puzzle together that gives you the best football team possible once you hit regular season, and so plans in other positions possibly could influence plans in a particular position, right? Because we have ratios to deal with and depth to deal with, right? And we have a lot of Canadian depth on this football team, and guys that we're pretty high on. And so all of that factors into the decision, right, on how we make our plans.
Has his skills declined, or were there just better players at that position on this team that he wasn't?
Yeah, well, Dave didn't play a lot for us last year, right? And he's going to have a pretty difficult time breaking into the lineup this year going forward, and so it's more an issue of the guys that are around him in the same position, and his depth as it relates to that.
Dave came back from surgery and did play for you in some capacity this year. Did it surprise you that he was even able to come back from that? Because, like a lot of people thought, with age and health being factors, that he might not have been able to play for you last season.
No, it doesn't surprise me with Dave. Dave's a pretty tough guy, right? And he's pretty determined, and sometimes you can't measure, a guy's heart and desire to play and desire to continue to compete, right? Dave's competitive, so it didn't surprise me.
Have you spoken with him today?
I spoke with him yesterday.
And what was the reaction?
I mean, look, this is the crappy part of the job, right? And we've got to make decisions. I have to make decisions that I feel like are best for the organization, for the team moving forward. I'm really fond of Dave. I told him that. I like him quite a bit and loved his attitude, for the 1 year that I got to coach him and the time I got to coach him. It was not easy. It's not easy for Dave, but it's not easy for us either. These are tough decisions, but decisions that we have to make. And Dave understands that. He's a consummate professional. He was very cordial, very understanding, disappointed obviously, but determined to still play.
Go ahead.
Having lost Marwan and now Dave, two very community-oriented guys, will you look to your other players to kind of fill that role from a community perspective? I know that doesn't have much to do with on-field performance or anything like that, but it is an important component, I guess, from a fan and community perspective.
We certainly understand the value of that, right? And where we see a fit with either existing community outreach programs that are in line or directed by our players, we'll continue to pursue those and put those in place, and as well as look at new initiatives, which we are going forward. So we have a lot of players that will have a lot of value in this community, and will have a lot of value for this organization at all different ages, and so we understand that needs to be looked at, right?
A couple of days ago, you traded for a guy named Spencer Armstrong. Can you talk a little bit about what you think he brings to the table?
Very athletic, can do a lot of things offensively. Did a lot of things for Air Force in their offense. They didn't throw the ball quite a bit, very much when he was there. But he's a guy that used on reverses. He can run the ball. He plays on teams. He had outstanding pro day numbers. He's smart, so we feel like his ability to absorb and learn the offense won't be a problem for him. He's dedicated. He's excited about coming back east and playing for us, and I just think he'll be a great addition for us.
Beyond him, you have Jay Diston. Do you have other Canadian wide receivers in the fold?
Yeah, we like Coates quite a bit. The junior, we're pretty high on him going forward as well, and continue to develop him and his skills. So we feel pretty good about that position right now.
Okay.
Other free agent talks, have there been any movement on the Henry Burris front? Has there been any new negotiation there?
Right now, all of our positions, we're coming out of the holidays. Coaches have been gone. It's no excuse. It was all planned and scheduled and on the calendar. But we're still finalizing all of our plans in each of the positions, and we're looking at a lot of different avenues because it could go a couple of different ways. Once those get finalized and the plans are solidified, then we'll have substantive discussions with the appropriate parties, appropriate agents, and players.
Do you plan to sign most of your free agents, or hope to?
Don't know. I mean, that's why we build more than one plan. It just depends on how it goes and which direction we decide to go in, and quite frankly, which direction they decide to go in. It's not just a one-way street, right? A lot of players want to hit free agency and see their opportunities. So we build plans around all the potential alternatives.
Thanks, Will.